Doc, the focus by Nana Komia on free SHS.
No, it's not him, the papers.
Yes, and then the papers. I am glad that when you go through the Afrobarometer carefully, it reveals that 85% of Ghanaians say that they do not fear at all that free SHS will be interrupted by any future government. 85% say that. Yes, they say that they are convinced that any future government will maintain free SHS. And indeed, they also indicate that Agenda 111 and others.
They were asked.
Yeah.
So if you can just find it, that's if it won't take much time.
They were asked. Yes. They were asked that will the next government continue these priority projects? And it was free SHS. There was one district, one factory, one village, one dam, planting for food and jobs. And interestingly, if you look at the results, 85% say that they have no doubt at all that whichever government comes to power will continue with free SHS. 81% said that one district, one factory will be continued. 71% said that one village, one dam will be continued. And
do you know what is interesting about the disclosure unit?
And yeah, go ahead.
Do you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
Read the question again.
So, should the next government retain these ongoing initiatives? Yes. Should the next government retain these ongoing initiatives? And interestingly, on e-levy, only 17%.
Yes.
79% said that e-levy must go.
Yes.
Continues to show how unpopular e-levy is. And I must salute President Mahama. He had the foresight many years ago. He was the first presidential candidate to say that e-levy will not help us. It's not in the national interest, and that he will not waste time at all. It will be one of the first decisions he will take. After that, I've seen that some other candidates have followed suit, including those who introduced it and fought us to the hill in Parliament, amidst fist cuffs and all of that, to introduce the e-levy. Now let me come to Nana. You can write it down. Nana, you keep interrupting. No.
Listen.
So let me come to. Oh my goodness. Can I finish?
Even before it came.
Can I finish? There's no record of that. There's no record of that.
There's a record.
There's no record of that. Yes.
You said that a radio station.
Okay.
Randy, you are aware.
Oh my goodness.
Then I'll give you the opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. You finish.
Yes,
but Doc, there are very startling revelations in this.
Yes.
If you take the matter of corruption, I mean, it is most shocking what Ghanaians are saying. Consistently, the Ghana Police Service is at number 1. 63% say, when they were asked how many of the following people do you think are involved in corruption? How many of the following people? So the police service, the consistency, they have really held the crown. But what is shocking, Doc, is that the office of the presidency comes a close second. This is unusual. I mean, hitherto, the office of the president, when President Akufo-Addo took office, check the Afrobarometer, he was held high up there as the most trusted. How did he fall so mightily? I mean, this is more than a Humpty Dumpty fall.
Second to the police.
Second to the police, a close second. And in the 54%.
And in the case of the police, because of their
every day, every day, yes. I mean, shocking. And look at the couching. Office of the presidency. So is all of them there. I don't see how Bawumia can extricate himself from this. Because it's office of the presidency.
Well,
all of them.
It's only protesters who can't go there.
All of them over there. All of them. So one wonders what the youth has been saying, that social media trend which has been consistently trending, that Julobi house, are they being vindicated, by this Afrobarometer? Now close second to the police. Then you have tax officials, 53%. Members of parliament, I must say, we don't also cover ourselves in glory. I must be
You are number 4.
humble to concede.
Are you number 4?
Number 4, 51%. Judges and magistrates, 44%. Electoral Commission, 43%. MMDCEs, 43%. Civil servants, 39%. Assemblymen and women, 31%. Business executives, 31%. Traditional leaders, 29%. Public media journalists, 24%. Randy Abbey, and you and your colleagues, we have to consult you. You are not doing bad. You are not doing bad. It appears that there's some confidence. It's good that the public has some confidence in our journalists, at least. Religious leaders, 21%. Private media, 21%. Non-governmental organizations, 18%. I mean, this is troubling. This is troubling. I mean, you expect the office of the presidency to champion the fight against corruption. And really, that is what brought Akufo-Addo and Bawumia to office. When they pledged that they would deal ruthlessly with corruption, they will use the Anas principle. Unfortunately, they rather came and hounded out Anas. And Anas has become an endangered species. We've seen what they've done to other investigative journalists, Manasseh Azuri, and others. I mean, what is going on in this country? So I'm not surprised that the presidency, the Akufo-Addo Bawumia presidency, is competing with the Ghana Police Service on who tops the corruption league table. Disgraceful. So much promise, this Akufo-Addo Bawumia team. So much promise. I will protect the public purse. I will make sure that corruption is costly. I will use the Anas principle. Oh, how they said all the right things. Great speeches, moving speeches. See their track record. Falling from grace to grass. Disgraceful track record. And they should bow their heads in shame. Never again should we fall for empty rhetoric as a country. Now, this Afrobarometer also, Doc, is revealing a lot of things that must agitate the minds of the political class. As many as 41% of Ghanaians are saying that unemployment is their biggest headache. Unemployment. That is what they want us to focus on. Unemployment. So I hope that those who have been trying to ridicule the NDC's 24-hour economic policy, Formula 133, which will make sure that at least immediately we can triple the workforce in this country, and which would industrialize our country. I hope they are seeing. The NDC is clearly responding to what is the number one issue to voters. 41% are saying it is unemployment. When they were asked to list what they think are the most important problems, look at the Afrobarometer. Unemployment, number one, 41%. Infrastructure, roads, 38%. Health, 33%. Education, 28%. So, yes, free SHS is important. There's a lot of noise about it. But really, to the Ghanaian voter today, top 3, free SHS doesn't feature. The most important issues to the voter is unemployment, it's infrastructure, and healthcare. And we all know President Mahamad's track record when it comes to these issues. Under him, we didn't have the worst unemployment rate, which we have now, at 14.7%, according to the last population and housing census. His track record when it comes to infrastructure is very clear. President Mahama is celebrated as the nation builder. And so, who else to address this most important issue to Ghanaians? Infrastructure. We've seen his interchanges. We've seen his massive roads. You know, you can mention the Fufuso Solar Road. I can mention the Circle Interchange, the Kaswa Interchange. I can go on and on. The Eastern Corridor, Dodi Papasu Road. Look at Terminal 3, which has won us so many international accolades. You know, look at the Tamale Airport. Look at the whole airport. Look at UGMC, the only quaternary hospital that we have in West Africa. Look at the KJTR market. Look at the Shai Osudoku Hospital. Look at the Ridge Hospital. You know, so when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to health, President Mahama towers above all his opponents in this election. And when you read this Afrobarometer, you are not left in any surprise why the Ghanaian people are rallying behind President Mahama, why there's such a clarion call for President Mahama to come take over. Now, the Electoral Commission must also be deeply, deeply worried about trust. The Afrobarometer reveals that only 28% of Ghanaians ahead of this election trust the Electoral Commission. That's damning. Really, really damning. So damning. So damning. Only 28%. And indeed, when you look at trust in institutions, trust in institutions, the latest Afrobarometer reveals that only 28% trust the Electoral Commission. The courts, only 35%. That must worry the judiciary. As for the police, is zero. And it's a shame that despite the IGP's purported reforms, it has not made any impact thus far. Of course, when you are asked to investigate land matters, clear, blatant land grab, land looting, state capture, and nothing is done, no reports are done, and you continue to give protection to these miscreants, these state looters, nobody is going to trust you. So I'm not surprised that trust is in the police service is so low. Then the president, virtually nobody trusts him these days. 28%, very, 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 very low. But the parliamentary institution must also carry out an introspection. There was a lot of promise when Ghanaians voted for a hung parliament. That promise clearly has not been achieved. And we need to ask ourselves, how is it that in 2012, 49% of Ghanaians trusted, parliament, and that has declined considerably all the way to 24%. And we as an institution ought to reflect deeply, deeply about our poor showing. Then, Doc, the Afrobarometer also reveals that as for them, as for the Ghanaian people, as for the citizens of this country, they are not just going to be listening to promises of politicians. What matters to them most is a candidate's honesty, a candidate's character. Indeed, campaign promises was relegated to a distant third. Very, very revealing. Very revealing. Very, very revealing. 90% say that they will vote for a candidate they can trust. Clearly, the glaring example that comes to mind, not a candidate who says that when your fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. When it was 1:4, it's now 1:17. Can you believe that? Who would have thought? And when you ask him now, he engages in some somersaulting. Says that, it was true then, but now it does not logically follow. He's the only one who understands that logic. He's the only one. Somebody presented as an economic messiah. And let me salute President Mahama for the 5 questions he asked. And I'm glad that he's staying on the 5 questions. Bawumia has been responding with some 30 unrelated side issues. Respond to the 5 questions. And he cannot. Running away from the economy, running away from the exchange rate, which continues to deteriorate. And it's causing so much pain, so much anguish to traders, to all of us, because it puts the cost of living through the roof. We are currently living in a cost of living crisis. And I have not added the debt exchange program, which has robbed Ghanaians of over $12 billion, their savings. Who would have ever imagined that Bawumia would have subjected us as chair of the economic management team to this pain, this anguish, this destruction of lives, of livelihoods, of people's businesses? So it is really telling that the Ghanaian people are saying, as for them, in assessing politicians, it's not really about your campaign promises. It's your honesty, 90%. Your character, 88%. And Doc, we also have to watch this number. Doc, have you paid attention to this?
Which one?
58% say they will vote for presidential and parliamentary candidates from the same political party.
Yes.
But 15%, that's really high. 15% say they will vote for presidential and parliamentary candidates from different political parties.
Yes.
15%. 15%. And you see, we should start thinking deeply. See how we are racing to destroy all our institutions because we can't live with the scenario of a President Akufo-Addo as President of the Republic and an NDC majority as confirmed legitimately by the Speaker of Parliament. People can't live with it. They want to die. They're crying all the way to judges who contested in MPP elections, Gaiwu and co, to rescue them. But if you look at this data, it is clear that there's really a possibility. This country must be getting ready for that sometime in the near future. Because if as many as 15% say that they are not going to be voting for people from the same party, we should be getting ready. Because it's a clear possibility. And the bad precedents we are setting, the way people are somersaulting, no conviction, no principle, and will go to every length to destroy our institution, undermine our democracy, because they can't live with the possibility of not hanging on to their one-member majority. When in any case, after Ghanaians voted in 2020, there was really no majority. We all got the same number of seats, 137, 137. So we ought to be reflecting on this seriously. 6% say they will vote for an independent presidential candidate. 6%, an independent parliamentary candidate. That's quite significant.
Right.
So more than 8 out of 10 Ghanaians indicate that they had little or no fear of falling victim to political intimidation or violence. So that is a good one. But I want to conclude, Doc. I want to conclude this Afrobarometer discussion on the other very, very damning findings, which as a political class we have to be embarrassed about. 7 in 10 Ghanaians say that they know someone or a family member who went without cash income at least once during the previous year. Many also report shortages of medical care, 54%. Those who lack water in our country, 44%. Those who did not have access to food, 44%. Cooking fuel, 42%. I mean, what's really the essence of governance if you can't provide food for the people? They can't have access to potable water, almost half of the public. This is deeply, deeply worrying. And then, when it comes to ratings of the government's economic performance, it's an overwhelming negative. Fewer than 2 in 10 Ghanaians rate the government positively on managing the economy. Only 19%. Ghanaians have given up on these people. They presented themselves as the economic messiahs who will come and transform this country. When it comes to creating jobs, only 18% trust this government that they can create jobs. When it comes to improve living standards of the poor, only 17%. Keeping prices stable, only 8% trust this government. I mean, nothing can be more damning